A driver that is in everyone's heart. The driver with only one junior season and was endorsed by Michael Schumacher and Mika Häkkinen. A Finnish youngster that quickly rose to the top, an extraordinary talent, and as soon as he joined a top team, he proved he was capable of competing with the best. This is Kimi Räikkönen, someone that deserved more from his 5 seasons with McLaren. But before we go deeper into his McLaren stint, we have to know how he ended up there. Räikkönen made his Formula 1 debut in 2001 with Sauber after an impressive test in 2000. It was at that test that another legend, Michael Schumacher, knew that the Finn would be fast, very fast. His Sauber season was impressive if his car didn't break down, scoring points in his first race after waking up 30 minutes before the start. He adapted quickly to Formula 1 machinery, was consistent, and gained a recommendation from Mika Häkkinen. Yes, it was the other Finn that told McLaren to sign him. We all know it by now, but I'll repeat what he said. If you want to win, sign the Finn. And that's exactly what happened for the 2002 Formula 1 season. Kimi Räikkönen became a Formula 1 driver for McLaren. In 2002, he started a period of 5 seasons and 87 Grand Prix with McLaren. I was an absolute Schumacher fan, but Mika Häkkinen, he'd already conquered my heart. And so did Kimi. He always felt like a simple guy who just turns up to drive fast and go home. I instantly supported him. Pre-season showed that the car was quick. People believed that they could challenge Ferrari as they did a few years prior. They asked Räikkönen what he thought, and he said, "I hope I will win at least one race, score as many points as possible." Meanwhile, his team expected him to be quick, but also cause a bit more damage, all because he wasn't as experienced as others. The first race of the season was at Melbourne in Australia. Kimi instantly showed why I supported him. He qualified 5th but finished 3rd at his first Grand Prix, his first podium in his first race with a top team. That was promising. But the second weekend at Malaysia showcased how the season would unfold. While running in a point-scoring position, his engine failed. The first retirement was a fact, and it would become a familiar pattern. It was a frustrating moment because the Finn was matching the pace of more experienced drivers. Out of the 17 Grand Prix, he ended up 4 times on the podium, which sounds good, but with 11 retirements, the season was disappointing. In France, he should have won if it wasn't for all the oil that made him spin. That was a remarkable race and showcased his abilities. I truly believe that if the McLaren MP417 was reliable, he could have challenged for the title straight away. Räikkönen showcased from the first Grand Prix that he had the raw speed and determination to fight for a world championship. He always came back strong from a retirement, worked his way through the field if needed, and was consistent. That title challenge came in the 2003 season. It was the season that Kimi went from promising talent to championship contender, and that in his 3rd season as a Formula 1 driver. But it also became a what-if story. The season wasn't plagued with reliability issues as in 2002. The McLaren MP417D was an evolution of the previous car that had already showcased what it was capable of. His raw speed and consistency challenged Michael Schumacher. Another season start in Australia, but not as good as his first one with McLaren. Another mistake in qualifying resulted in a P15 start. A masterclass followed, holding off Schumacher behind him, and a P3 was the result. His official breakthrough came after that, the second weekend of the season, at one of my favourite tracks, the Sepang International Circuit, was Kimi Räikkönen's first win. He started from 7th position. A chaotic race start and a good drive with a 39-second lead made that possible. The Iceman was born that day too. He showcased how calm he can be, no excessive emotion, just keeping his head down. Then, the Brazilian Grand Prix. I get shivers when I think about it. What a race, and what unbelievable crashes. I really thought Alonso was really hurt. While it looked like the Finn had won again, it was later decided in court that Giancarlo Fisichella won. He was demoted to 2nd place and lost his first points. The other teams kept developing their cars, and McLaren had an optimized 2002 car. While they lost speed, Kimi didn't. A 2nd place at Imola extended his championship lead, but in Spain it went wrong. A mistake in qualifying resulted in a P20 start, but that start ended in a collision and his first retirement. He came back strong with a P2 in Austria, a P2 in Monaco, before having an off weekend in Canada. He spun in qualifying and finished the race in 6th position. Kimi was dominating the European Grand Prix, but his engine failed. He was surprised but said, "That's racing." The remainder of the season saw Räikkönen deliver consistent and strong performances, comeback drives, and 3 more podiums before the final race at Suzuka, a title showdown that could crown a 6-time champion or a first-time champion. He qualified in 8th position, with Schumacher in 14th. Kimi needed a win and the German just needed to score points. The Finn did what he always did, fight his way to a 2nd place. But Schumacher made up places too. An 8th place finish secured 1 point and his 6th Formula 1 championship. His first championship battle was only lost by 2 points. The engine failure could be named as the reason, but the 2 collisions also. The team made some mistakes too, with pit stops and being too conservative with their strategy. But in reality, it was a Ferrari that was indestructible, a championship contender that was a robot, and a bit more luck that caused it. I don't even want to include the 2004 season, but I have to for the sake of this video. It was a season of pain, disappointment, and frustration. With a 7th place with just 45 points, 1 victory out of 18 races, and 7 retirements due to mechanical failures, I think I've already said enough. But let's dive a little deeper. The 2004 season was highly anticipated. Kimi Räikkönen came off a strong title-challenging season, and everyone expected him to compete for the title again. But from the start of testing, it was clear this wasn't going to happen. The McLaren MP419 was a debugged version of previous cars. The car had chronic rear-end grip issues, which resulted in being unable to attack without destroying tires. A new Mercedes engine was made out of paper, and the electronics failed too. Räikkönen called it impossible to drive around the problems. But there was one highlight, the mid-season update. It was a completely new car with better aerodynamics. He took pole at the British Grand Prix and finished 2nd, won the Belgian Grand Prix and finished on the podium in China and Brazil. That season also taught us more about the Finn. His media performances became more of what we are used to. His honesty, but also optimism, came more to light. He didn't see the season as a lost year, but more of a learning year. He had hunger for more. His relationship with Ron Dennis became tense. The micromanaging manager versus the I don't care driver reached new heights. Kimi became more resistant to team obligations, and honestly, I'd do the same as him. And last but not least, Party Kimi. We all know how he liked to party and drink, but him on a dolphin being drunk in Gran Canaria, it still makes me laugh. He always said that drinking didn't make him any slower, and it might have been a coping mechanism. The most important part is, he maintained a fantastic relationship with his engineers, even if everything wasn't going their way. 2005 might just be Kimi Räikkönen's peak. Dominant speed that was once again undermined by reliability issues and just bad luck. When the car didn't break down, he was unstoppable. That season really cemented him as one of the greats in my eyes. The McLaren MP420 was finally perfected after years. The Horn wings, the most powerful engine, and advanced hydraulics. The latter proved unreliable later in the season, but overall it was an incredible car that could deliver a championship. But the season start was a struggle, not only because of all the media attention on his nightlife activities, but also because of the car and bad luck. 8th position in Australia after he stalled on the grid and had to start from the pit lane. A tyre problem in Malaysia ended in a 9th place, followed by a strong drive in Bahrain from 9th to 3rd showcased what Kimi and the car were capable of. The biggest disappointment came in Imola, a pole position, leading the race, and his drive shaft breaking down on lap 9 caused a DNF. Spain marked the comeback, a dominant win with an impressive pace. He followed that up with another win in Monaco. From start to finish, leading the race, completed with a very good strategy. It just showed that when everything stayed intact, McLaren would dominate. But not for long. At the Nürburgring, Kimi was leading, but a suspension failure messed things up. Canada was a big win, and the US Grand Prix, well, a shame. I've talked about it enough, but let's just say it was a tyre disaster. And let's not forget the public battle between him and his team boss Ron Dennis. The rest of the season was again full of ups and downs, fantastic recovery drives from the back of the grid, hydraulic failures, and 8 more podiums with 4 wins included. The most memorable one? The Japanese Grand Prix. I mean, come on! From 17th to 1st position at Suzuka, a true driver's circuit. It just showed the level of performance the Finn could deliver if his material stayed in one piece. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Renault's reliability ultimately led to Fernando Alonso winning his first championship, not Kimi. Another one to forget, the 2006 season with McLaren. Let's get it done because we don't want to be in pain any longer. It's marked as an end-of-era season and was once again highly anticipated. He was again the runner-up in the championship. Everyone, including me, hoped this was the year. But you guessed it already, a disaster unfolded. 5th in the championship, 0 wins for the first time since 2003, and 6 more retirements. The MP421 was a beautiful car. That chrome is still one of my favorites of all time, but the engine in it was as bad as the years before. The first race of the season at Bahrain was promising. It's still one of the highlights of his career. From P22 to P3, Räikkönen showed again what he could do. A crash in Malaysia was a retirement, and a battle for the win followed in Australia. And I can't leave this one out. Monaco 2006. He was battling for the lead, but his engine failed again. He was mad and didn't even go to the paddock. What did he do? Went straight to his yacht. What a legend. Or that one interview in Brazil.
Yeah, I was having a shit.
Yeah, I love that guy. The season wasn't what he hoped for, and we all know what happened next. Michael Schumacher was retiring, and Kimi signed for Ferrari, where he finally won. Something he deserved way before that. He did 5 seasons with McLaren, which are 87 Grand Prix. 39 of them were a mechanical failure or a team error. That's close to 50% of the races. Because of this, he missed out on 2 world titles. The Iceman and McLaren will forever stay a what-if partnership. One of the quickest drivers in unreliable machinery. His McLaren period is, for me, one of his best, something I remember and will remember for the rest of my life. But yeah, in Formula 1, what-ifs and second places, they don't count. While we dug deep into his McLaren era, you don't know anything yet about his youth. A poor Finnish kid that quickly rose to the top of racing. We talk about karting, his one and only junior series before making his debut with Sauber. And it goes all the way to 2021 and his retirement. You don't want to miss that.